Hello creation, I hope you're well. I've not written anything. I want to talk about listening to our intuition. This is vitally important. At this moment in time, this is sort of final purgings. A lot of you, especially those of you who are walking the you're on your path to enlightenment. Shall I say? You're on the walking the path to enlightenment. Learning about yourself, all that is laid before you. You see as if it's a challenge, you see it as a challenge that you need to overcome. We don't give up, we never give in, and we keep going. Now, these past few days, there have been energies very testing that have been, I'll be quite honest, sent my way. I'm not going to go into it as such, but all these energies can do is slow us down. They cannot stop us on our sacred mission, shall we say, or in living life, in searching for our truth, for the truth, within ourselves, So that's wonderful. When we realise that it's within ourselves, we know where we need to look, don't we? But we have to consciously make that decision to do so through our meditations, and to put them into practice. I'm as guilty as anybody for turning around and saying, well, you need to look within. Yeah, of course, and so do I. I'm not, if I were perfect, if I were an ascended master, I'd be glowing. I'd be emanating lots and lots of beautiful energy, wouldn't I? And I'd be glowing as if I've had me. What was it? There was an advert on TV many years ago. I'm not going to advertise them though, but it showed him eating this morning food, and then there'd be a glow around him. A lot of you of my age would know what that product was, but anyway. So we need to put that into practice. How many are out there who are saying to do something who aren't actually doing it? It depends on what you've got to face, on what you've had to face. It depends on what you've had to clear. It depends on what you've signed up for before you've incarnated into this life. It depends on what you've brought in to clear in a lifetime that may be ancestral, that may be bloodline, that may be from the beginning of your existence, from your first incarnation. There are some energies that take some bloody clearing. If it were all as easy as clicking a finger, then we'd all be up there, wouldn't we? As it were, enlightened beings. But it can be difficult. It can be. And I think there's a saying, I can't remember it, but I know there's something like when you're about to break through, that's when it's most hardest, or something like that. That's when your challenges are. When you're just about to cross the finishing line, that's when it's the most difficult stage. Something like that. I can't remember. And there will be energies sent your way and brought up, but there will be some that will try and use those moments to try and stop you. Like a as I say, and as I believe, you can't stop it. You can only delay it. But we just carry on. And we keep going. We carry on and we keep going and we keep going and we keep going. Because that's life. I see it from a totally awakened perspective. I see it for what it is. There's many times now specifically where I feel that I don't belong here. I've felt that for a long time, to be fair. But I know that it's like I'm most of the time now. It's been for years. I'm the observer, you know. The observer who's taking on energies and who's transmuting energies, and you know, but that's just me. It's just as I am. It can feel, when you are transmuting energies, it can be the loneliest place to be. It can be. Because sometimes you need to be in isolation. You need to be in isolation to work through what you've got to work through, whether that's for yourself or, you know, or for something. I think it's all linked anyway. Well, it is definitely. So even if you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the collective, aren't you? Because we're part of the collective. So, but and I also believe that at times like this, when we've got to be careful. We've got to listen to our intuition, and it's all about resonance. It's all about, if something resonates with you, it resonates with you, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Now, sometimes when we are being tested, when we're at that stage that's just before the finishing line, when it's the hardest it can be, when those energies, you think you might never get through them, you know, and you're tired and you're drained and you just want to call it, I don't mean call it a day as in, you know, cease to be in physical form. I'm not about that. I'm not about taking actions to do that. But when you think, oh, I cannot be asked anymore doing this. I tell you what, if you've got this far, you will keep going. If you've got this far, you will keep going. You will not stop. If you were to have, well, let's put it this way, those who are at this stage are meant to be at this stage. It's as simple as that. You've done it. You've done it. It's this final hurdle. If you're at the final hurdle, you will get over that. You will overcome that hurdle. You will. And listen to your intuition. Vitally important. At times like this, there may well be those who reach out via the internet, or you've got to listen to your intuition. And if you're feeling a bit drained, a bit tired, a bit war-battened and, you know, battle-weary, as it were, because we're all spiritual soldiers doing his jobs, then we might just buy into that. Be careful. Be careful what you buy into if someone reaches out over the internet. Make sure that you do your research. Research them up. Look for... Just research them. Find out what you can about them before you even answer. Because it could be the scammers out there. Scammers all over the internet. So this is just a word of encouragement and a word of warning, if you want. Warning, bit harsh, but word of encouragement. You're here, you've got here, you're magnificent. You are the Almighty's mightiest warriors. Seriously, if you've got through all what you've got through to get to this stage, you're just at that final part. If you're feeling tired and drained and there's folk reaching out to you, just take a breath and think before you answer. Research them before you answer. Okay. Keep going. Keep going and keep going. And go within. Because that's where I'm going. Got to do it. Got to do it. Got to master it. Alright. Take care.